Man, oh man. It's tough out there, you know? Because I'm like you can't avoid it. Get on the internet today. All of a sudden, everybody talking about things go up, things go down. Today's a down day. You care about these things. You care about that crypto at all. It's a down day. Now, I haven't even been in this thing that long, you know, compared to other people. Like, I just been goofing around. And I'm not really even that emotional about it. So I can't even commiserate with everybody because I'm not that emotional about it. Got other things going on. I just have a little bit of fun. For me, it's like I bet on some, like I told you. I just treat it is what it is. It's a little bit of entertainment. It's not, there ain't no life savings tied up. And I wouldn't recommend that for anybody else. But you certainly get the sense when you see all the tear face emoji type things on social media that people are hurting. And it's like anything else, man. The bigger the upside, the bigger the down. The more up you felt, the lower the low. And it's so many things in life that are like that. The more you care, the more enthusiasm you have, the more committed you are, the more potential to go to the other side. Well, today's that day because crypto fell off a cliff. I'm talking all of it. It's funny. I was on Coinbase and I was like, they have a little button you can press for top gainers. Ain't no gainers.
It's a red market there.
Yeah, like one thing in there is like a 1% gain or some goofy thing. Everything is down. Tether is up, but Tether doesn't count because that's just USD. Everything is down. And there was a moment where things sort of went the other way, but then no. Is it weird that I'm this entertained by all of it? Because, like, I'm invested. I'm in it. I got this Ethereum going on. But it is kind of part of the fun of it to a certain extent. It's
Watching
kind of the fun of it. I don't know. It's just, people are very angry with me right now as I'm kind of smirking about it. But maybe I'm a glutton for punishment to a certain extent. Like certainly if you're a type of individual that's into this YouTube thing, you're getting punished all the time. Over the 10 years I've been doing this, you fail, you make mistakes, but you get this weird pathway in your mind that in some way failure leads you towards success because you get to learn from those mistakes.
Yeah.
So I think in a weird way, it kind of wired me up for certain things where I find some sort of humor even in the failure.
But also, I think throughout that time, you just build resilience.
Maybe that's what it is.
You know?
But maybe it's just the fact that I didn't put my whole life on the line with this stuff.
Sure.
That's probably contributing to a certain extent. Anyway, goes up, goes down. Elon Musk has found himself at the center of it. Although there are other stories that are involved and important in the conversation around things going down. It's not just Elon. As high profile as he is, you had this stuff coming out of China. China made some moves around the relationship between financial institutions that are approved in the nation and if their behavior around crypto, if it's allowed and all this. And so that's really at the core of it. But Elon came out today and did the emoji with the diamond hands. He says Tesla has diamond hands. I thought that was hilarious. After everything everybody went through, and he was taking maybe more heat than he's used to on his previous tweets about Bitcoin in particular using too much energy. And then he comes out, and I couldn't figure out if it's a complete troll. Are you just goofing on people, or is this for real that you're trying to send a message that you're in it for the long haul, at least crypto for the long haul, if you're Elon? It's funny to me. I got humor out of that too. Diamond hands. You want to look at the tweet? Go look at the tweet. Let me know how it makes you feel. I think he followed it up with a reply as well. But it was shortly after this tweet that the market kind of steadied a little bit, and then it kept bombing. Yeah, he goes, Tesla has diamond hands, and he goes, credit to our master of coin, which is a real position at Tesla, as opposed to, I don't know what it would be, CFO or something like that.
Sure.
Head accounting type. They just called it master of coin for fun. But you look at that top tweet, he immediately gets back on the side of the crypto types. 70,000 retweets, 362,000 likes. Simple, just two emojis in there, throw 2 emojis, get on the right side of it. Amazing how quickly you can turn it around. And then you got Peter Schiff jumping in there. He's like, told you. He loves hopping on the Bitcoin.
Yeah.
He even gets the hashtag in there, so he gets the little colorful logo and all that as well. Anyway, what can really be said about it? Like I said, look, this thing, it moves in waves. It's so easy to move this stuff around in and out, and you see the stuff that's pinned to USD like Tether. You see it being moving up the charts. Like, look, it's at number 3. So people aren't going all the way out. They're sort of staying in the market, but they're chilling for now. They're ready to go. And so I'm not making any moves. In fact, I got a story later on in the show about something cool happening with Ethereum. So I ain't going anywhere, man. I'm over here. I'm having fun. I'm still having fun. It's weird. I'm having fun when it's red. I'm having fun when it's green. I suggest that anyone who plays with this stuff, put yourself in a position as far as your commitment level where it's fun for you when it goes up and down. And then you're at the right level.
Yeah, I agree.
And if you go to a point where the going down is affecting your life or stressing you out to that extent, you're probably too heavy in the one direction in this area over here.
Are you a financial advisor now?
No, I would never say such a thing. That's what we got Vin on the show for, actually. We got him on for the financial advice.
He's all in on crypto.
That's right. You never know it. You can't tell it. But he's got all his paperwork. He's a real deal financial advisor. Look him up in the directory.
Yeah.
I don't know what directory. Directory of financial. The directory of Reddit financial advisors. You'll find this picture right here.
Perfect.
That's Vin. So anyway, we'll keep an eye on it. We'll see how it goes. Another famous investor, Kathy Wood, still sees Bitcoin going to 500,000. I would say she's got a few of them Bitcoins. It's quite possible. But we're not going crazy crypto on today's episode. I got a lot of other stuff to talk about. But first, it's going to be our sponsor. Today, it is Manscaped. And you know Manscaped, man, they got the brand new 4.0. So they made improvements to the previous model. And we still got a promo for you. We still got a deal for you. And they're suggesting for Father's Day is what you're gonna want to do with this. I don't know. For those that don't know, me and Vin are brothers, so we could go.
No, that's not.
Yeah, we could. Yeah, no, Vin, we could split. We could split it. Yeah, we could split it, Vin. For look at plus the peak hygiene plan. Hang on, scroll down a little bit here. So $84.99. Lawnmower 4.0 plus peak hygiene. So I guess that hygiene is going to include some of the personal care, the different, what would it be? The cologne and some of these items, possibly. Anyway, so it's already at that price. Then plus, because you're watching this show, you get another 20% off, right? So fact that, me and you, we'd be like $30 a piece over here. That's a hell of a value.
Do it.
That $30 doesn't even take you very far out in your travels and the fast food excursions. You can't do much with that. So you could get a gift over here for Dad. And let me tell you here what they improved. So believe it or not, the skin safe replaceable blade, it's got some ceramic in there. It's not going to be as harsh as the regular setup. They've engineered it as such. Our hygienic, skin-safe blade helps prevent nicks, snags, and tugs. Just snap in and out to replace. Look at you go. Rechargeable and wireless charging built in. 90 minutes of cordless trimming. Has an LED spotlight and a power status indicator. So it has a little flashlight on it. So for better precision. It's waterproof, so you can trim dry in the shower. Now, Vin's interesting. You see, he started out, he's skeptical. And now he's hearing the features.
Well,
It's also got a travel lock on it. And this is interesting. I haven't seen this, and I've had a lot of razors over these. But what it is it can't turn on in the travel bag accidentally. So you put the travel lock, and then if the power button was to get pressed, it's not running there like crazy, doing any damage or anything like this. And it also, the charge dock and the shape of the thing sort of looking like a Lamborghini right now. Like I said, it's a perfect gift. Or just get it for yourself. Have yourself a time. Upgrade your hygiene. Upgrade your, get ready for summer. Because you're going to be heating up down there in the summer. You're going to get the shorts on. It's easier to relax. It's hot out there. It's boiling out there today.
Oh, yeah.
Get the lawnmower going. Get your lawnmower out. You see?
It makes perfect sense.
Anyway, you can get 20% extra off, 20% off, and free worldwide shipping. Worldwide, if you were wondering. For free? How do they do it? I don't know how they did it. Go to manscape.com/Lou and get your 20% off. Don't forget the /Lou portion. You will not get the 20% off. It's not like it's in there if you just go to the website. So you'll see it reflected only if you use that URL, which will also be in the description if you prefer to just click down there instead of typing it in. But anyway, manscape.com/Lou, 20% off and free worldwide shipping on top of whatever discount on the Lawnmower 4.0 and Peak Hygiene Plan includes over there. Because another thing dads need, what you're going to find on the website, is the nose hair trimmer.
that makes...
Dads are going to need that.
Yeah, that
You
makes
know what
sense.
they call that?
The weed whacker.
Oh, yeah.
You see, so you get the lawnmower and the weed whacker. You got to fill out all the tools in the garage. But a lot of dads, they don't do this, and or they're getting up in there and causing problems and hurting themselves. So this makes it easier over here to... Because as you get older, you become an older man, you start to realize things get strange with the eyebrows and the ears. And where's all... What are these things coming out of here? Gotta be on the lookout for this stuff.
And it gets worse, and it doesn't stop.
It doesn't stop. So you're gonna need to get it's better now than later that you start to get a hold of it. Keep it in check. All right, one of the things that I missed from yesterday, when we were doing a recap on Google I.O., was this interesting piece that they put about how the new camera app and the camera software is going to aim to do a better job with darker complexions. And when I saw this, by the way, I couldn't imagine the complexity involved in, now not specifically if you're taking a picture of one individual, but when you have multiple potential exposures across a group of people, which is a common occurrence. And so when I start thinking of machine learning or the AI or whatever in the background is going to determine how to correctly expose a photo with all these different complexions in it so that everybody's looking good. Now, they didn't go into a tremendous amount of detail. They just said it's on their radar and they're aiming at it. And here we have an example, which obviously the new one, the latest version of the processing, it looks, about 1 billion times better. So they showed some improvements in their test. People want to obviously get this in their hands and try it out themselves to see what it's capable of. But up until now, it has been a thing that can go overlooked because of data sets and the way that these systems are trained and whether or not you have the wide range of complexions represented within those data sets. It's a wild mission to go on to try. And they were using terms saying that they're going to finally make it fair. And even that sounds incredibly ambitious to me because, you're going to need a tremendous data set to achieve such a thing.
Man, and to do it instantly. Well, not instantly, but
Basically,
very close.
pretty much instantly.
It's technology.
The company consulted with 15 image makers to improve its computational processing, which includes adjustments to its white balance, exposure, color temperature algorithms to better reflect. And by the way, they didn't say black skin tones; they said non-white skin tones. So this is when you put that in the spectrum, and you're talking about the global population, you're talking about billions of Android devices out there. Now they're not billions of Pixel devices, so it's gonna. Because on Pixel devices, it's their camera app, and really on all those other Android devices, it's up to the company to determine how their camera app's going to operate. So it's going to take a bigger footprint for this really to impact people globally. But either way, it's on the radar, and you have obviously some pretty sophisticated software developers out there aiming to solve this. You've highlighted, we may expect to see these changes most prominently on the new Pixel phones, though that doesn't mean post-processing can't be done on other phones via Google Photos. So if you had some, I don't know, Samsung device, maybe if you downloaded and launched Google Photos, it would then process the image at that point, post, but that's obviously nowhere near as convenient as immediately, so you see what you got after you shot it.
Mm-hmm.
And, but man, it'll be cool to see how well it works. I know a lot of people have been asking for this kind of thing. So it's one of the things from Google I/O that didn't make it into the last show. So I want to make sure I touched on it. Apple's head of software admits that Macs have an unacceptable amount of malware. You ever experienced malware on a Mac?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
No.
It's definitely not on the Windows scale in my experience, but certainly it's possible. Now, what's interesting about this particular statement is you would say to yourself, why would a head of software ever say something like this? But as you know, the Apple Epic stuff has been going on in court. And they're talking about iOS as kind of in terms of as being an improvement from a security perspective over Mac. And the part that comes out in court is how on a Mac, you have the ability to install anything you want from any site. Because they're trying to defend their position as saying, if you want an app on your iPhone, it got to come from the App Store.
Right.
And so they're almost beating up on the Mac a little bit in order to defend the position of the iPhone to say, Epic, you can't have this other store. Look what happened on the Mac when we let people install things. They all got all this malware in there. So you can beat that one up a little bit in order to build up the other one. Now, I don't know how much you're using a Mac on a fairly regular basis, right? Right now?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. So you know when you go and install software from a third party on the web, it makes you click through a bunch of security things like, yes, I want to do that. Kind of like Windows.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what I really mean to do. It can be a little bit frustrating, especially if you know what you're downloading. From the web as opposed to the Mac App Store. So
yeah, it's not ideal.
There's differing opinions on it, but it also wouldn't be ideal to have malware, would it?
No, that would be very unideal.
What about you, Vin? You ever had a virus on a Mac? Malware? No? Never experienced such a thing.
Well, that was part of the reason for going that direction. So
You went
at
there?
least I was told.
Look at you.
Not really anymore, but
Oh, you've changed directions? What's your direction right now?
more Windows.
Mm-hmm.
But
You a fan of Bill Gates? You know he's in the news these days.
yeah,
In the hot seat right now.
yeah.
And when some news comes out like that, it's crazy how it drums up. It like drums up a lifetime of news. Like they're like, oh yeah, there was that one time
Wow.
with the rumors. And then they're like, oh, when he was hanging out with Epstein. And then they're like, wonder about this guy. And she was trying to divorce him back in 2019. And it's all sources close to the matter.
It's gonna get worse for him.
Ooh. Is that a threat?
No, not for me. You can see it. They're teeing all this stuff up. I mean, there's.
Oh, you know what it is, Vin? It's like it's blood in the water. It's like the sharks are circling, and they say, "Ooh, that's a wound. That one's wounded right there. Now's the time." now's the time to dig in, go looking for the stories. I mean, you're getting the clicks as well, and the clicks in so many cases, that's the important part. So if he keeps bringing clicks, if people still keep clicking, I actually skipped a couple stories because I'm like, what more are you going to say about this divorce? But if you could keep bringing the clicks, then you can keep having the digging take place. I mean, we can attest to the same thing happening over on Rogan's show. It's like, ever since he moved to Spotify, weirdly, it's like things that he says that you feel like he had been saying before, all of a sudden on your news page, it's all of a sudden elevated. People want to know what he's doing, what he's saying, and it's just climbing up those news rankings.
Yeah.
It's this effect of this multiplier effect, this amplification effect. The thing gets rolling, and particularly if it's controversial, particularly if it has an argument somewhere in there where one side happens to believe one thing and one side happens to believe the other, it's an amplification effect that takes place.
I don't know if it's that the news stories are climbing in the feed. I think the deal put him more so in the spotlight, the Spotify deal. And I think it takes media news, it takes them longer to catch up to what's really going on. Eventually they woke up and they figured out that he actually has a voice. People listen, and
yeah, so there's clicks to be had. That's absolutely right.
Yeah, but there's
no one cares what anyone's saying if it doesn't lead to clicks. It's the minute that it leads to clicks that they say, "Oh, I'm gonna throw that one on the listening list," and then see when it's just like us on this show, right? I'm gonna talk about Apple if people keep clicking on Apple. If people stop clicking on Apple, I'll move on to whatever it is that they're looking for. It's pretty straightforward. In Rogan's case, if I talk about something he says that's controversial, boom, views, right? Or whatever, pick your other subject. So we're all...
yeah, but I don't think he's doing it necessarily for I think he honestly believes what he's saying.
But that's not the important part. I don't think he's saying anything different. I really don't think there's anything... What I've been reading in the press about whatever controversy he finds himself in after seemingly every other episode these days, I think it's more that it's bringing the exposure to any site that's willing to talk about it. I think in a weird way, him moving over to Spotify created an interest on the open web for what's going on his podcast, and it also, like you said, elevated. There was an elevation of status where there's other. I mean, not traditional media, but other media outlets were like, I guess there's money there, so I guess people are listening to it. So I guess people want to hear all the side stories and controversy associated with it.
Well, everything nowadays is just about creating sides too. And then you separate everyone. There's the two camps. You have the.
It seems hard to even get clicks without having some disagreement. It seems hard to if everything is all rosy and like, look at that, that's a great thing. It's hard to get people's attention. It's like a fight. It's like a fight breaks out, and all of a sudden we're doing our business and we're all busy, and then a fight breaks out. We got to stop what we're doing. It's like an innate human thing. When you see conflict, you just stop and you look that way. And the same thing goes over here. You're like, wait, was that a conflict? I know who that guy is. Was that a conflict? Who's in the conflict? It's like a hack. It's an easy hack.
I do also think maybe part of it is to early on tamp down any rumblings of any potential political future. Possibly.
No, he has no interest in politics.
Wow.
And you can't.
Change. People change. People change.
You're not tamping anything. It's the opposite of tamping. You can't. The more if you come out and say this guy's an idiot, then people go, "Who's the guy you're talking about? Who's this idiot?" that I need to know about. Like, it doesn't work on the
but
internet.
you are publicly saying that. So, I mean, you still have people on both sides, either taking that or, sticking with. Or I think the crossover is not as large as you think, from someone who would hear something negative about him and then therefore start listening to him and get into it. I don't know.
You saw how many followers Trump had on Twitter? This is the amplification. This is how it happens.
But
how do you get on trending?
But half were supporters, and then half were people against him who needed to.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I don't know. Rogan's fault.
You get customers on both sides.
I mean, I agree. I think people are listening to him now more than ever and more closely than ever.
It's an amplification effect. If you are, whatever you're talking about, wherever you're contributing noise is the thing that you are amplifying. And therefore, if you get really noisy about the thing that you hate the most, you have to admit that there's the potential that a percentage of people that you, through your social media feed, introduce to a thing might not share your opinion and might end up doing the opposite and become a patron of the thing that you were attempting to criticize. It's a possibility, just when we're talking about sheer numbers.
I don't know. I see the same figures that are hopping on this, bashing him. It's kind of like a void was there, and now it's all about who's going to fill that void. Everyone has that lost addiction from the political shift, and I don't know who the figure is going to become, but I think there will be one. And I mean, Rogan's.
Did you just call Rogan the new Trump? Is that what he just did? Right there?
No, it's not. It's not the new Trump. It's.
I think you're trying to say like there's a power vacuum.
Well, yeah, there's a void. There's a void from. I wasn't calling him the new Trump.
No. But I mean, in a roundabout way, you're saying.
Well, who? That's the thing. It's like, okay, he's not the new Trump, but how? Like how if someone is much more moderate, can you then turn that person into the same thing for the people that wanna, yell and
Vin's hands have never been this involved in an episode ever.
He's very passionate.
We have completely flipped the script. Vin is doing somersaults over there in that chair, and we have found a way to motivate him today on this show.
Rogan. That did it.
It got to him.
It's a outrage vacuum. Right?
Listen.
Yeah. Well, it's an addiction too. All of it tied into everything. Venting on social media.
Venting.
I mean,
you need targets. Are you saying you have to hate somebody? Is that what you're saying? Because there's people that are going to hate you after this, right?
Yeah. Well.
It's complicated. It's complicated living out there. It's complicated talking. It's complicated. You're opening yourself up. You put a microphone in front of your face and you're inviting people from all angles to analyze the noises you make. And so it's just part of the gig to a certain extent. And I'm sure, it's a constant balancing act. But and certainly everybody doesn't always phrase things perfectly, exactly the way they want. And as you do this exercise, Vin just did this exercise himself, and you realize as you choose your words, you choose your approach, there's all kinds of potential holes you can fall into in ways that you phrase something. And it's just the nature of life in this particular era. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so is the Mac actually unsafe? Is this to be believed as it comes from Apple's head of software? No, I don't believe so. I think it's all part of the court case. It is possible that iOS is more secure. However, I have to say from my own personal experience, the idea of my desktop OS having a billion different warnings and things is not for me. It makes it feel like I don't even own the thing. It's constantly reminding me, hey, are you sure you want to do that? I hate it on Windows. I hate it on Mac. So I prefer to compute at my own risk in most cases as far as installing things, but that's me. Telegram founder says iPhone users are digital slaves. How about that? For a bit of a... it's a fiery headline right there. Telegram founder says developing software for Apple feels like working in the Middle Ages and calls anyone using an iPhone a digital slave amid Chinese surveillance accusations.
Wow.
Pavel Durov, Telegram's founder, who's still working on the app for Apple platforms, shared these comments recently in a New York Times investigation into Apple's relationship with China. So here's a quote. Apple is very efficient at pursuing their business model, which is based on selling overpriced, obsolete hardware to customers locked in their ecosystem. Every time I have to use an iPhone to test our iOS app, I feel like I'm thrown back into the Middle Ages. The iPhone's 60 hertz displays can't compete with the 120 hertz displays of modern Android phones that support much smoother animations. Well, this is a bit of a sidetrack for him. Just the refresh rate of the display doesn't have much to do with their relationship in China specifically, or whatever concessions are made. But it's just another point. I guess he's taken multiple shots here. You are only allowed to use apps that Apple lets you install via their App Store, and you can only use Apple's iCloud to natively back up your data. It's no wonder that Apple's totalitarian approach is so appreciated by the Communist Party of China, which, thanks to Apple, now has complete control over the apps and data of all its citizens who rely on iPhones. This guy taking shots, pulling no punches, whatever you want to say. He's got all the keywords in there to create some heat, some steam.
You use an iPhone. Do you agree with him?
I'm getting spied on over here. I don't know. I mean, an iPhone, to be fair, an iPhone in China is not the same thing as an iPhone elsewhere because the App Store is treated differently, right? Mm-hmm. And because the web is treated differently, right? If I'm in China without a VPN, I'm having a much different experience there. And it is worth noting that there aren't that many big tech, American big tech companies doing business in China. We talked about Google in the past. Facebook is not really there. There's many that just couldn't comply. Either their business model wouldn't allow for it or they chose not to for whatever reason. Apple is kind of an outlier in that sense. Tesla is also there and trying to make a go of it. But for the record, Telegram has had its beefs with Apple in the past. It was removed temporarily. It's in direct competition with the likes of iMessage. So there's incentive here as well, which is an important piece to put in there. There's an incentive there to put these attacks out there. But I use Telegram a little bit. I mean, the messaging app thing is just, there's a lot of, many options out there now. Signal is out there, which is also aims to be incredibly secure. And obviously WhatsApp, huge player from Facebook. But anyway, Apple has definitely been under the spotlight for its compliance with Chinese laws. And it's beginning, I guess, to take some degree of scrutiny here by this individual, but also, I suppose, by the New York Times doing this investigation into Apple's relationship over there. Vin, you're going to like this one. It's a local story. You got Justin Trudeau here. You never expect to see our prime minister on this show. He got roasted for using a fake MacBook. There's a lot of confused looks going on around these two in this particular show right here. If you scroll down, you can show the photo there, Will. So...
Whoa, is that logo a little bigger than normal?
Absolutely. That's an HP laptop right there. So it's definitely not a good look. People were calling him out, roasting him because they see the power cable there. And it's obviously...
There's the stickers, the Intel stickers.
Yeah, I mean, it's obvious and it's boosted up there on some books. It's a pretty... Okay, I mean, it's a rugged setup. It's certainly not very sophisticated there. But so anyway, people were calling him out saying that he's a fugazi.
What?
You know what that is, Will?
I've heard it, but I don't know what it means.
It's a fake diamond. And people use it to call somebody a fake just in general. I hate to break it to you, though, as much fun as people are having, because politics love moments like this. It's actually not his fault. But here I'll get to why it's not his fault in a moment. But here's some of the criticism, I guess, or roasting launched his way. Why is Canada's Prime Minister pretending his boring old HP laptop is a trendy MacBook? This comes from Toronto Sun journalist Brian Pacifium. Why the deception? Tweeted another conservative. Is everything fake?
Is this photoshopped or did they use a sticker?
Here's another one. I'll get to that, Will. Here's another one. Nothing is real about this girly boy. That's what somebody else said. Others called him a con artist for this. Anyway, apparently, according to a Liberal Party spokesperson, this laptop belonged to a volunteer, and he was just hopping on it for a short moment to talk to everybody in whatever that video conference happens to be over there. So it's not his, and it's not his fault. But I'm wondering about this volunteer.
Yeah.
What are you doing with the Apple logo over the HP logo? I mean, that's not, unless maybe it's just a joke, you're having fun with it. But also the laptop looks so much like a MacBook. It's hard to think, like, is it a joke or...
Well, you can see the HP clearly through it doesn't even cover the full. It looks like
you can. I don't know what to tell you. It's a weird look. I don't know why anyone wants to do it. I hope it's just a joke. It's a weird concept.
And they blame Trudeau.
Well, yeah, because that's obviously the fun thing to do.
Yeah.
Right. And so Microsoft is going to finally kill off Internet Explorer June 2022. I mean, I don't know. Does anybody have fond memories of Internet Explorer? I was never a big Internet Explorer guy myself, but there would always be some weird circumstance where some website would require Internet Explorer. Do you remember these days? It would be like only works on Internet Explorer, and you would have to, I don't know what I'm remembering, like applying for a driver's license update or some old government thing or something. It'd be like it works on Internet Explorer 9 or something. I don't remember.
Yeah. I don't remember anything like that, but I think it was put in the choice of Netscape or Internet Explorer.
Well, you also had the Firefox years. Firefox crossover, where a lot of people transitioned to Firefox before Chrome became such a big thing.
Yeah, that wasn't available at school. So it was just Internet Explorer or Netscape at school.
Oh, you're going back
Which
further.
was a travesty.
You're going back further.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, the fact that they still support it now is kind of a surprise, because obviously they put out the Edge browser now like a while ago. But there are apparently many of these institutions and I guess large companies, I doubt that they would still be on there, but that have software that's built to work in that browser. And so they've been supporting it for this long, but they're just saying, we're out. We're done with that. Move on already, people. Internet Explorer is going away. Edge has been out since 2015. Figure it out. 2022, RIP Internet Explorer. This one is a little bit weird. And you guys may, I don't know if you are going to recall having been close to here during our trip to Shenzhen, whenever that was, the 5th tallest skyscraper in the electronics district in Huaqiang Bay. You remember, we were there.
Yeah.
So
right in the thick of it.
We were right there for a while, hanging out that part of the city. Anyway, this big skyscraper just started shaking, and they didn't know why. It wasn't like all the buildings were shaking; just this one building started shaking. You can go play the video. There's a video clip. It was trending on Weibo. It just starts like wobbling back and forth, and everybody scrambles out of the building. It's not a small building. This thing here, it has 70 stories. I got to tell you, how are you going to react to something like that? Well, now the electronics mall is right on the bottom there, so we were there.
Huh. Yeah, that's terrifying.
Now, they came afterwards, by the way, and they checked it out. They said, there's no cracks, nothing. Come back to work. You going back or what?
No.
Is it possible?
I like the guy. Hold on, Will. Get ready to pause.
Orange shirt?
No, the guy running with the cigarette in the
There.
mouth.
You like that? Yeah.
I don't know. What do you...
Yeah, the cigarette's not going to help the cardio while you're running.
No.
Yeah, so this went viral. The mysterious shaking of the 20-year-old building, more than 70 stories, mostly staff and small companies that rent the office space in the tower fleeing through the streets around lunchtime. I mean, a 70-story building, if it were to fall, you got to be pretty far away to not be affected. So you got to be running to get, But that we were underneath that thing in the mall portion. Anyway, people were wondering, okay, what do you do? How do you follow up on something like that in order to determine when you reopen it and when the retailers and the businesses can come back in?
You spend a week. You do an engineering investigation thing.
Preliminary inspections by on-site experts found that there are no safety-related abnormalities in the building structure or surrounding environment. The government said in a statement, there are no cracks found in the ground nearby. The interior steel structure was normal, and curtain wall panels and other decorative surfaces did not fall off or sustain damage. So you're just going back to work the next day?
Not the next day, no.
How long do you need?
I need a week.
But what's going to happen in a week?
Oh, they can tell me.
So if it stands for another week after that, then you're back to the 70th floor. Very unusual look. I mean, maybe it's possible. I hope some engineer or architect or something can tell us why one single building would just wobble for a while and still be okay.
Well, you mentioned it's the tallest, right? Maybe it's just
no, it's the fifth tallest.
Oh, well, maybe it's just high winds in that specific area. No other.
But there's
building.
way taller buildings over there.
Yeah.
The 10-cent building or whatever it was. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, there's some reason here. Obviously, the video clip is out there. It looks like a real thing that happened. We need the engineers to weigh in on this. All right, this is that other crypto story I was telling you about. Apparently, the Ethereum 2.0 transition is going to dramatically cut the energy use on Ethereum. Apparently, it will use 99.95% less energy than current proof of work Ethereum. Because energy efficiency has become this hot topic of conversation around crypto, and Elon started it. I mean, it was happening before that, but he amplified it, certainly. And so there was a short period of time where people were rapidly trying to move their crypto into coins that were perceived as, or not even perceived, but actually were more energy efficient on a per transaction basis. Well, Ethereum has had this 2.0 plan for a long time. This is the transition from proof of work to proof of stake, proof of work being more like Bitcoin, how Bitcoin operates. And now you have some figures indicating that it's actually quite a bit less energy consumption than the current setup, 99% less. By conservative calculations, by the way. Taking the total number of validators, unique addresses, and the average energy consumed by hardware into account, the resulting figure was significantly lower than Ethereum's current energy demands using proof of work. There's actually a nice little comparison in here, which might be easier to visualize. Proof of stake Ethereum consumes something on the order of 2.62 megawatts. Rather than being on a scale of countries or provinces for energy consumption, or even cities, it would be the equivalent to a small town or around 2,100 American homes. Currently, in the proof of work consensus mechanism, the same thing Bitcoin is using, a single Ethereum transaction, this actually kind of blew me away, a single Ethereum transaction uses the same amount of electricity as a house would use being powered for 2.8 days.
Wow.
One transaction. But that's nothing compared to Bitcoin. Again, according to Decrypt here, a single Bitcoin transfer consumes 38 days worth of household electricity. A single transaction. This is pretty wild. When you move to proof of stake, which is Ethereum 2.0, and this essentially means that transactions are validated based on coin that is staked, held, as opposed to a bunch of mining rigs. Then the electricity used for a single transaction is more like 20 minutes of TV watching.
Okay, so that's not too bad.
Per transaction. So
Sure.
give you an idea of the difference in these this transition. So anyway, this news is obviously a thing that is kind of timely as the market just jumps off a cliff. You come out there and say, hey, 2.0 solves all your problems. Don't go looking for some other crypto. Stick with us. We got it all sorted out anyway. I don't know. Whatever. I'm in it. Whatever. Do you know about this? You know anything? Oh, I moved things around. Do you know about this hot tub streaming thing going on?
I read about it, but
So yeah, same. I read about it. Vin knows about it. You're on Twitch and the streamer is sitting in a hot tub while they're streaming.
no, well, they're
Is it a hot tub or just any tub? What is the
it's
hot?
one of the maybe a blow up tub.
Yeah, but so then if it's a blow up tub, then the water is kind of actually not that. It's not hot, is it? You can't keep that really very hot.
No.
You could pour in hot water, but then it's going to be weird and lukewarm. Oh man, why do I have to be thinking about all the details here? I can't help it. I'm like,
Too many logistics.
I think to myself, oh, that's pretty nasty because you get this lukewarm water. And all of a sudden, I have to focus. I get the zero in and I'm like, she's sitting in this lukewarm water right now.
And then it gets cold eventually because you're sitting there for like 5 hours streaming.
Yeah, it ain't no hot tub anymore. What? I'm just thinking about this headline right now. I'm like, if you had an actual hot tub and you were hot tub streaming, I think you could make the argument that it's like, there's a comfy place to stream from.
I think maybe it's just like the phrase, like hot tub.
It sounds hot.
Sure, yeah. Maybe.
Vin wants to say something right now. Like a hot tub.
Well, something's going on here. No?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You're trying to send a signal that like a hot tub. I'm in a hot tub. I'm kind of hot in a hot tub.
Sure, yeah.
It's
Well,
the
you
word
could-
hot. But
I like horseback riding streaming.
you're joking like as if it doesn't exist. It probably works. It probably exists. Oh,
Oh,
it does.
just be on a horse in the room streaming.
I bet you it exists, man. There's a lot of weird stuff out there. I'm telling you, I bet you it's been done in the history of streaming. Horse riding.
Then
He keeps looking at you, Will. He wants approval.
Well,
He wants you to agree with him.
Because
that this is
Will's on
something-
the cutting edge of
streaming.
He
He didn't even know about this.
I read about it.
Anyway, listen, okay. Swimwear apparently on Twitch is allowed, but this particular individual by the name of Amaranth, her thing, I guess, was the hot tub streaming for a while at least. Probably does other things as well. And Twitch recently disabled monetization, that basically ads showing up, making it not a very profitable endeavor to get back into the hot tub. And there's a split, a kind of a split on whether or not that should happen, and of course, there's like everything else, it's a very complex matter because even if, let's say Twitch stood up for it and they're like, yeah, keep doing the bikini hot tub streaming, some point down the line, it can affect their business model, right? So they could say, yeah, bikinis are allowed or hot tubs are allowed. It could be in the terms. People could go and do it, have the ads enabled, but there's always seems to be this disconnect between the advertiser and the content creator. Well, obviously, created by the in-between, the broker essentially, which is the platform. In this case, Twitch. In our case here, YouTube, where streamers and fans of streamers seem to talk about the things independently. Like as if Twitch itself is the advertiser. Like, hey, Twitch, why'd you turn my thing off? Well, it's like, no, it's not that direct. Twitch gets a phone call from an advertiser. And then I remember the argument around adpocalypse on YouTube. People were saying, well, where else are those advertisers going to go? YouTube should cross their arms and say, these are our creators. You will advertise on them.
No, they can go somewhere else.
They'll find some other spot, some other place, whatever fits their criteria. That's Willie Doo's take on it. But there is the potential for impact. Like, let's say the big numbers start going to the hot tub streamers, and then advertisers hop onto the page because the board of directors is like, how much did we spend on Twitch? And they're like, oh,
let's all go check at the board.
We spent 20 million. They're like, we better check in on that. Yeah. And all of a sudden the homepage is just 15 hot tub streamers. And they're like, we did what?
Yeah.
And everyone's like, well, who cares? People watch everything. They'll buy your goods. But then there's this weird, and they do all kinds of testing and market analysis type stuff to figure out, okay, what about sentiment? What about when our brand is attached to this? What about when our brand is attached to that? What is the sentiment? What is the user behavior? What about brand value and the way people perceive the brand, and so on and so forth? And that's why they got so many rules and bids around this stuff. It's incredibly complex, so there's more to it. In fact, this streamer herself, Amaranth, at one point said during a stream, I got to find the exact quote here. She said, I will agree. Long term, it is probably damaging for Twitch's ad revenue. However, if they allow it, they allow it. You know, it's their choice. It is what it is. This is indirect relationship to the hot tub streaming. So, look, when it comes to this type of thing, Twitch has other means to generate revenue, right? Donations and things like this. And it appears to me that for this type of thing, that path is a little bit more robust. If people really want to see something bad enough, they in a stream on Wednesday after the ban, Amaranth told her viewers that ad revenue was making $30,000 a month and was much higher than the amount she received from direct donations. So, like, they got to pick up the slack. Whoever really wants this thing to keep happening, they got to pick up the slack. You put your money where your mouth is. 30 G's she was making off the ad revenue. So 30,000, you got to put up a buck or whatever it is. And you keep your hot tub streams. Bottom line. Figure out how much you actually like it.
Yeah.
You remember the show Friends?
Yeah, I remember.
You ever heard of that show? Friends, it was a big hit. I don't know, it was like back in the 60s.
Oh, I wouldn't go that far.
What was it, the 90s?
It was the 90s, yeah.
It was the 90s.
It was
early
near,
90s.
What, Seinfeld? It was after Seinfeld, right?
Back in the 90s.
We're so old.
Well, I was watching this clip and I was like, oh man, they're so old, so I'm so old, so life is over. Okay, cool. Anyway, they're doing a reunion, I guess. And they're doing a reunion, like a show. But they did this pre-interview and people are worried about Matthew Perry.
Uh-oh.
Because they say he had the 1,000-yard stare. And and he was slurring his speech as well.
Wait.
So he's 50.
Really? Oh, no.
So he's 51, and he has struggled in the past with addiction.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Apparently really bad during Friends, like one of the seasons.
He was struggling with the addiction, and so they rolled him out for this. They all got together. There's a clip at the bottom. I don't know. You can play some of it. I'm sure you can play some of it. But, I mean, none of them, it's age, it's time. You know, it's a rough one, ain't it? It'll get you, won't it?
It's a weird one. The
Time
reunion.
and age, and I don't know. Maybe you got to kind of scroll through, but there's a moment. Scroll a little bit more. He also makes kind of a weird joke at one point. They ask.
It's
Go some. He's looking down a lot.
Do this.
You can do it. And he makes a weird joke at the end. They're like, what would you say your relationship is like, you guys? And the other two guys say, you know what? It's kind of like siblings or something like that. And then he goes, except sexual.
Oh.
And they laugh, but it's almost in a kind of nervous way. Like, wait a minute, what? And so anyway, I don't know. Will, you can watch the clip and let me know. But time, it'll get you.
Yeah.
These, I mean, some of them would want to do it. Others would have had to have been pressured. It's.
There's a money component.
Yeah, it's all money.
There's a money component in there. And, well, I mean, this is us at some point. We're doing a reunion of this show right here, and we're 800 years old. And then other people who are also 800 years old want to watch it. So what's the difference? I guess it doesn't even matter. But I hope he's all right. I don't know.
I think just act the way you are then at that point. The difficult thing is then you're pressured to kind of recreate that character from decades ago. And
sometimes it doesn't read well in today's climate.
And it's difficult. You it's just the lost years. You can't.
It's also weird that we kind of, in a way, want things to stay the same. Like, we want to relive and have it...
and force other people to do so.
To do the same, and it's playing the hits. You go see the band that was your favorite. You're like, play the thing from 30 years ago. Because it's really a reflection on you and the fact that you don't want to move on. Well, that's a rough one.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't want to be doing any reunions, man. Well, don't you dare come to me when I'm 87 years old. If we're going to do it, we're going to have to do something new. We're not going to rehash the thing.
Okay.
We'll do something new. We'll play chess or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Chat a little bit.
Yeah.
When we're that age. We'll have like a nice espresso or something. And we can reminisce, but we don't have to put the outfits back on. You don't have to put that exact outfit back on.
No?
No, you don't.
Okay.
No, you don't.
Yeah. I'll be glad not switching the keys.
You could be something completely different. Whatever you want to be, man.
Okay.
20, 30 years from now. You could just be wearing a Metallica shirt. You could have piercings, or you don't have to do that either.
Yeah, well, we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
You know.
I think I'll play chess with you though.
Sounds like a good plan. No one has to watch any of it. You know what you could do though is get yourself an extra thumb. That might extend your effectiveness, maybe. I don't know. So they gave this robotic thumb, to a bunch of testers, and they were like, what would, they're getting pretty smart about prosthetics and robotics and controlling things with the tiny little muscles. Google was showing off at I.O. that cool implementation with the drummer. But what if you took a person, what about when you start to think about extras? Like, okay, you got 5 fingers. What if you had 2 thumbs? What else could you do? And so they let people experiment with this. Now, that thumb is actually controlled by your foot.
Oh.
So you got 2 little triggers, and you can control the action of the secondary thumb with your foot. And so people found themselves actually multitasking with a single hand. They'd be holding a cup with the one thumb and then like stirring it with the remainder of the hand, stirring what's inside the cup. I was like, whoa, man, people got good with it pretty fast. In fact, so much so, some people didn't want to give it up after the trial was over.
Like, no, give me it.
They got the extra thumb here.
Just run away with it. That's cool. I guess it looks 3D printed?
It does actually. This unit that you're looking at right here.
There's some rubber grip things on the thumb.
Sure. Yeah, because that's a lot of what it is, picking things up. Somebody said that they were multitasking. They were scrolling their phone and collecting their keys out of their pocket at the same time with that extra thumb. There's a cool picture if you go down a little bit further. Look how much you can grip. You know what time? Everyone had that experience when you're maxed out on the things you can carry with the grocery bags or whatever.
Stupid lemons.
Yeah, man, max you out. You need some extra. They took a group of 36 healthy participants trained on a device, but professional musicians were excluded. No, you're not allowed. You can't be bringing these extra digits to the piano over
That's
here.
hacking.
Yeah, that's it.
That's too much.
Mozart didn't have that. Look at this. Stirring the coffee with the same hand that's holding it.
Cool.
That's wild. A person supporting a coffee cup with a third thumb while stirring a spoon with their natural fingers. Incredible stuff. No one thinks about this. What about a whole other arm? What about an extra arm? A whole other extra arm and hand.
Like Goro?
So
Mortal
four.
Kombat
Four.
character?
No, just four. 2 left, 2 right.
Why not?
Yeah.
It's not bad.
Seems cool.
It's pretty good.
Seems fun. I don't know. All right, here's the last one. This is a deep find. This is a deep dive. This is me clicking on a YouTube recommendation and
This just popped up.
And normally, very low expectation. I don't know what you're showing me here. But this is one of those moments where you click on it, like, how is this content even here right now? Here we have a clip from 1981. I don't know if this individual was Thunder Bay Mayor at the time, but anyway, the title is Thunder Bay Mayor Walter Assef, 1981. And it's a super old videotape recording that somebody had in their inventory, and they uploaded to YouTube. And it made its way into the suggestion algorithm. It has accumulated 100,000 views, 339 subscribers on the thing. This video is from the Thunder Bay Times News Archive, and it's pure gold, according to that individual. I thought we could watch it together. Go ahead, Will. Give us a little volume.
Of that right here with the press here. I don't know what you're reaching for. I don't know what you want.
Waddington maintained his position in questioning why the openings hadn't been advertised.
Mr. Pitcherack, as long as I'm mayor here, I'm going to intercede in the hirings of people here. I was the one elected
That
to
a
run this
cigar?
city with this council. And I will not take dictation from you or anybody else in here. I want you to know that.
Mr. Mayor, it's not dictation. We proceed according to
Feisty.
the bylaws established by the corporation.
We'll change the bylaws, too. I'll show you that. There's enough of this stuff been going on here now. There are people been hired here and relatives hired here without the say of council at all. And you know who I mean. Cut it out. Go and sit in your seat again. I don't need you even in that seat. All right. I'm going to call for Mr. Mayor.
I don't think we should do this.
Now listen.
No,
we don't. Alderman Van der Wees, I'm going to call for hands on this resolution right now. We've discussed it sufficiently tonight, and we can discuss it further later. This is a serious resolution.
Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor.
And I'm going to vote.
Well, you can call a vote all you want, Mr. Mayor, but I was on the speaker's list, if you recall, and
All
I
right.
was interrupted.
I'm sorry, you only spoken once. Go ahead now, what do you want to say?
I forget. No.
In other words, there's nothing.
What? Will, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? What do you want to do?
Carry on. I want to hear your guff. Go ahead.
Well,
Carry on.
Mr. Mayor, I think these are the kinds of things that are being asked for in a report, and I think that's what where they'll appear.
You know, Mr. Rapino, I'd like to know what you've been doing in the last while here. You're never
What?
here hardly.
The heck happened?
You're back and forth. You're
Are you
out
wearing
of order.
shades?
This is a different
you're
hearing.
in Toronto all the time, trying to correct the mistakes you made in Victoriaville. And this is going to come out in the next 2 weeks, and you'll have egg all over your face. And the aldermen are going to get a new look onto what has transpired. You've made a failure of Victoriaville, and we've had to have a bunch of businessmen to come in here, and you're even trying, are going to get a new look onto what has transpired. You've made a failure of Victoriaville, and we've had to have a bunch of businessmen to come in here, and you're even trying to retard them from doing their duty that they're not asking a nickel for. That's all I've got to say. And I can tell you, the last 2 years, what has Rapino been doing but working for others and getting his money from the lowly taxpayer here? So we won't miss him at all. We won't miss anybody. And if you were to resign, I'd say thank God, and we'd get along here. I'll tell you, I'd go back to the committee system, and if I had to work out of money without guys like you around here interfering and doing nothing. You never made a decision on your own since you've been here, and I'm telling you straight to your face tonight that you're aggravating.
Worship, come on,
All right,
Worship.
quiet.
You be
The
quiet.
whole lot of you.
You be quiet.
Well, I'll tell you.
Listen, I've listened to you all night. I'm going to have my say now. But I'm finished. I've said what I want to say, and I meant every word of it.
Can I say something now?
You bet you can.
Well, I think if you make accusations like that, certainly you can make accusation, but it should be done in camera. I don't think you should take any administrative officer in plug. He can defend himself here. I can defend myself because I'm an elected person, but I don't think it's fair to accuse a person like that. You might be 100% right.
I don't care what you think, Joe.
No, well, I'm just telling you.
I'm saying what I say.
I know you
Listen,
said it.
Don't you cross me again, Joe.
I'm not crossing
Don't
you.
cross me.
I don't
I'll
cross
tell you, one of these days,
Yes.
I'll whip you bad.
Oh.
I'm going to tell you.
Well, you can do that.
I will. You
I wish
damn
you
right
would.
I will.
I wish you would.
All right, you damn right I will. I'll show you what I'll do with you.
Your Worship, Your Worship, you're saying I spoke 10 times. I didn't speak once. I'm trying to
Go on.
speak
All
once.
right. I'm saying you did, and you're never off the floor. That's enough now.
Your Worship, I have
That's
a right
enough.
to speak. I'm sorry.
That's enough.
That may be your opinion.
That-
The innuendo doesn't belong in
You hear
council.
me? Listen.
Any
Cut
personnel
it out.
problems
Pagoda.
should be discussed in
Are you going to cut
Oh
it out?
my.
You want me to come in?
Employee Relations Committee orums
Pagoda.
should be discussed
Listen,
in
are you going to cut it out? Or you want me to come in?
Employee Relations Committee or in Corporate
Cut it out.
Administration meeting in
Mr. Clerk,
camera.
would you
I have
have the
just
chair
said-
challenged?
I've just said
This
it,
is
what I
going too
intended
far.
to say, and I'm not taking it back.
I don't want you to take the thing back because you don't know what you're talking about anyway. Just shut up. All right. Go ahead, Mr. Clerk.
Mr. Chairman, members of council to intercede when the chairman of that particular council himself ignores the rules and of council, and even I would say the rules of decency.
I'm not
So,
ignoring any rules.
I'm using the
I'm telling
only
the truth.
means that I see
Not
at our,
challenge picture
our
act or
behalf
anybody else.
to try to take a position to point out that I, at least as one member of this council, disapprove and would like to go on record as disproving of
You
it.
can go on. The press are here listening to you.
Right.
You're no damn good anyway, and everybody knows it. All right. You're nothing but a tramp. Not a man like I am.
Mr. Chairman, I'm an elected official,
Yes, you sure
and
are.
when I put my hat in the
400
ring,
votes.
I expect to take that kind of thing,
That's all right.
you know, and I can stand up to it. But I really feel that when you do the same sort of thing to city employees who can't fight back, that's the act of a bully and a coward.
Here, here. Could we have a recorded vote so we're really on record?
Wow.
Yeah.
1981.
Any one of you want to table it, table it.
Your Worship,
may I
speak
Walter
to it,
Asif.
please?
This
Pardon?
released
to the
all of it.
resolution.
I'd watch it all.
this is
I
a
certainly
real
don't
thing
Agree with
that some reason you can pause it.
times, but
It's a real thing that happened
okay, just let me carry on.
in 1981. You got the cameras in there. Tremendous entertainment value. Like I'm glued to him. Like, who did what to who? The mayor doing most of the talking there is in shades half the time, indoors wearing sunglasses.
It feels like Godfather 2 when they're trying to in the court scenes.
Man, he's just talking so direct and unfiltered, putting it all on the line in there. Holy cow.
It all looks really good. The
I don't know, man, it just struck me. Maybe it's the fact that everything is so much exposure you have to content is very produced and polished and proper. And then you get this throwback from 81 in like an official setting. This guy's a mayor of a fairly substantial town.
Was this pre-Trump?
Oh God, yeah. Well, actually, I mean, Trump existed, but he was a different individual at the time.
it should have more views.
Well, I'm sure some people will go appreciate it now, but there is something very compelling somehow about this clip that just you don't bump into. It's hard to put your finger on it, but you just don't. I had a smile on my face. I'm just like, whoa, here we go.
Yeah.
I don't know how much appeal it will have to the general public, but I felt the need to share. I felt the need to enter the weird zone together. And I at least have been willing to sign up. 1981.